buy a home in an HOA, but here's a story just in case you do need me to tell you that you should not buy a home in an HOA. So we did. We live in a single family home neighborhood of like 170 houses, and it's a cute neighborhood. We love our home. And last September, I started building a playset in my backyard for my kids. And it's just a wood playset. We got it secondhand, so I replaced some of the rotted out parts with lumber from Lowe's, but it's very standard playset with like a swing set and a slide. And within a day of me starting to build it, I get a call from the president of our HOA, and I don't know how she got my phone number, but she called me and she's like, hey, I hear you guys are doing some construction in your backyard. What's the deal with that? And I was like, construction is a strong word. We're just building a playset. And she goes, oh, well, you need to submit a request for that. And I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize. But I'll totally do that. No big deal. And she's like, oh, all good, just mostly a formality, just make sure it's not violating any rules. And I said, oh, well, I checked the rules and I know it's not, so okay, cool, we'll submit it soon. And I just keep building it because I have a half-built playset and I got some toddlers running around, so I need to have it finished. So the next day, I get an email from the board that says in all caps, cease and desist construction immediately from the board. And it includes a photo of me in my backyard building the playset that was clearly taken from inside my neighbor's house because you can see her window in the photo. So I'm like, okay, so this neighbor is not as cool as I thought. Whatever.
You pay the mortgage every month, yet an HOA can still decide what happens in your own backyard. That is the ownership contradiction today.
And so I submit the request right away and I'm like, oh, sorry, here it is. No big deal. And then I start checking the rules because I'm like, I can tell this is going to be a problem. And it says that if they don't respond to you within 30 days, that it's deemed approved. But meanwhile, my neighbor who took the picture of me joins the board. And then I see the agendas coming out with like playset concerns and wanting to impose all these new rules on playsets. And I'm like, well, they didn't respond, so mine's already approved, so whatever. So then at probably the 3-month mark, I get an email. And they're like, hey, we don't have enough information to approve your playset request. Can you give us all this information? Like really irrelevant information. There's no rules about any of this stuff, but they want to know the setback. They want to know what's underneath it. Like stuff that is not set out in our rules at all. And so I'm like, no, they're trying to find a reason to deny my request. So I'm standing on business here and saying, actually, you guys didn't respond to me in the required time frame, and based on the rules, it says that it's automatically approved, so this should be resolved. And so they start arguing with me back and forth about why my request is invalid, and I'm arguing with them, citing these specific rules, being like, nope, I know how to read, this is what's going on, and they just keep coming up with about why it's invalid. And but they're not signing any of the emails. They're all like anonymous from the board. And so I was like, who's emailing me these things? Like just really bad faith interpretations of the rules and like just twisting things. And so I was like, this is crazy. And so I was gonna post on our neighborhood Facebook page, not to be like inflammatory, but to just be like, does anyone else have a playset? Did you have any issues getting it approved? Blah, blah, blah. But the president of our HOA is the mod on the Facebook page. So when I try to post, she rejects my post. And she's like, no, we don't allow any discussion about board business on the Facebook page. And I'm like, okay. So it seems like she just doesn't want us to be able to talk to each other. So I have to go talk to my neighbors in person. And so I started talking to my neighbors and I'm like, hey, what's the deal with this? Like, this is weird. And then I start getting a bunch of information about how a lot of people are having an issue with this specific woman on the board of the HOA. And meanwhile, I'm still getting harassing emails threatening me with thousands of dollars in fines if I don't either resubmit my request or take the playset down. And so I'm like, this lady, no. And so I make a second Facebook page because I was like, they can't stop us from talking about stuff in our neighborhood. They don't own Facebook, so let's just create another page that people can say whatever they want in. So we created a new page, and then we started inviting some of our neighbors to it, and it spreads like wildfire. Like 100-something people, like in a couple days, join this page, and a lot of people are posting about stuff that they are pissed about. And so the board freaks out. They hire an attorney to start reviewing the Facebook posts because they're concerned about liability and defamation, and then they hire this attorney to write some scary memo to us about how joining a Facebook page to talk about HOA business is a huge liability to the association and we could all be sued and blah blah blah, and it's all bull. And then they also hire this attorney to come to the next board meeting to give some scary speech trying to say the same thing. Meanwhile, they're spending the HOA's money, our money, on this attorney to do this shit. So things start to like get progressively worse. Board elections happen, some new people are elected into the board, and this one woman who everyone has a problem with, now that people are finally talking shit about her, she like bails and she's like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. She gives this huge dramatic speech at the last board meeting. She's yelling at people on the call, like it was crazy. She's like got a huge glass of wine, like it was crazy. And so but I'm still getting these harassing emails and I know it's from her. She's not signing them, she's just signing the board, but the tone, like the distorted logic, like I know it's from her. And there's some other shit going on that's like borderline criminal behavior, actually allegedly criminal behavior, that I won't talk about on here, but so there's other stuff going on. And so I emailed the board and I'm like, hey, she's not a board member anymore. Are you guys still giving her access to all this stuff? Does she still have access to like the bank accounts and the email, and like what's going on? How are you handling the transition? Can you confirm for me that her access has been revoked? And they don't respond. And I'm like, okay, well, if you guys don't respond to me, I'm just gonna take this to the rest of the neighborhood and I'm gonna call for all of you guys to be removed because this is kind of crazy. And I'm not gonna put up with being harassed. And they don't respond. And so I go to our Facebook page and I was like, hey guys, wasn't gonna drag people on here, but this is what's been going on with me, and this is why I feel like none of the people on the board are equipped to like have this responsibility. I think we should call for them all to be removed. And if you agree with me, here's an email template. You can send it to this email address in order to call for removal of all the remaining board members. I think we should start fresh because of a number of other issues that were going on. And within like 2 days, we get the required number of requests for a call for removal. And which is like 18 people, 18 homes. It's like not a small number of people. And so the management company schedules it, and at that point, everyone on the board is like, they're like, okay, we're not gonna deal with this. We're bailing. So everyone leaves. And that is how I became the president of my HOA. And I don't want to be the president of my HOA because I really am kind of anti-HOA in general, but here we are. Somebody has to run it. Otherwise, the crazy people are gonna come back in. And yeah, so if you are living in an HOA, read your bylaws, read your CC&Rs, and talk to your neighbors. Because if you've got some crazy people in your HOA, like it's supposed to be a democratic environment, and you should be able to get those people out. But you have to be ready to kind of take over and do things. So yeah.
Hi, my name is Tracy, and this is my mother, Judy. We want to share a story with you about something that happened a few days before Christmas, and with the hopes that you will share this with all your loved ones, your parents, grandparents, kids out there, so you are not victims of a crime like we were. A few days before Christmas, my mom received a telephone call from Wells Fargo Bank. They spoofed the Wells Fargo number, so she has banked with Wells Fargo for 52 years. She's very familiar with their 1-800 number. And the call came in, caller ID from that 1-800 number. Answered the phone call, and Wells Fargo said the person posing as Wells Fargo said, this is Wells Fargo Fraud Department. We want to verify if you made any of these purchases in Texas, right?
Right.
To which she hadn't made. They listed all these different thousands of dollars of purchases that she had not made. So then they went on to say, well, we need to protect your account, and in order to protect you from this fraud that's about to take place, we need to verify that it's you and do some protective measures. At that point, they started sending her the code from Wells Fargo that they wanted her to read back, and she the whole time is thinking this is the fraud department trying to help her from these charges that were about to, charges or wires?
Well, it was charges.
Charges that were about to take
Yes.
place.
Yes.
And so gave them the verification code, and to which then they were able to gain access of all of her accounts in Wells Fargo, and added themselves as wire recipients, putting her name as the nickname on the wire, so the wire would look like it was going to Judy, but it wasn't, and wired out $49,000 wires until they drained every cent that she had. And they did the 49,000 because at 50 you cannot do an online wire, 50 or more. So they did 49,000 and just multiple of them. Once this was happening, she was getting kind of that spider sense of a feeling, right? That just something didn't seem right. But again, with all intent, she thought that these people were trying to protect her from Wells Fargo. Called me, and I said, hang up with me right now, call Wells Fargo directly, call them and let them know what's going on. And so they had, as soon as I got her phone call, I drove over to her place, and what they had done also is forwarded all her cell phone calls by having her do star 72 or something, saying that they needed her to do something on her phone. This forwarded all the calls to this other number. I imagine they do that in case Wells Fargo actually tries to call her, that it goes to that other number, but I don't believe, on looking at the call log, that Wells Fargo fraud department did try to call her while this was taking place. We have started an investigation. We have filed a police report with the Chula Vista Police Department. We have also filed something with the FBI. We know the bank and the routing number that it went to at Discover Bank. We are hoping that Wells Fargo is doing everything they can in order to get that money back, but every time we call, there's no new information. So please share this with everybody that you know. Obviously, this is not easy, for you feel foolish, but in looking at everything, I mean, they called from that number. And the best thing in speaking with the police department is, if ever you receive a phone call, even if it's from an institution that you are familiar with, always hang up and call them back. Even if they try to tell you, oh no, call me directly at this number, you call the number on the back of your card that you are familiar with directly. And usually these people will make you feel a sense of urgency, as they did, that all this money was going to get charged to her account if she didn't act quickly. And unfortunately, they took everything that she had. And so please, again, share it with people that you know, and we hope that this will help some of you out there. Friends and family have reached out because they've been a little concerned about my posts on different social media platforms about trying to connect with FBI and police department and such. And I know I worried, some people with those posts, but we're just trying to find the right people to help us and hopefully retrieve. It was over 100,000 that was taken, that we had money set aside for my dad's care, who's on hospice. So share away.
A bank account can look secure until access disappears. The damage starts immediately. While you are still trying to prove the account is yours.
Remember how I said no news is good news? That apparently was not the case. We got a new email. Over the past several weeks, the board has received numerous comments regarding excessive lawn irrigation, resulting in unusually green grass that is inconsistent with the community's seasonal appearance. While we appreciate homeowners who take pride in maintaining their yards, lawns that remain significantly greener than surrounding properties have unintentionally drawn unnecessary attention to our community that have generated questions from visitors regarding compliance with local watering recommendations. Mind you, we have no water restrictions here at all. They The HOA is the one that's trying to implement this. Effective immediately, the association is implementing the following voluntary conservative guidelines, which may become mandatory if needed. Wow. Limit irrigation to 2 times a week. Avoid watering in the middle of the daytime, which I only water at nighttime anyway. The board believes that preserving neighborhood consistency is just as important as preserving water resources. Individual properties that continue to stand out due to exceptionally lush grass may be contacted privately to discuss better ways to align with the community standards. We appreciate everyone's cooperation as we work together to ensure no single property distracts from the overall appearance of the neighborhood. That's like a shot to me, isn't it? Notice that the emails are not as forceful as they were before. I think they understand that we're not going to take this and we're going to push back.
Crazy rules my HOA has. We just bought our first home about 20 minutes from Disney, and here are some insane rules I did not realize when I was buying this house. Every house comes with a full sprinkler system, which is awesome. However, you really have to pay close attention as to what house number you are to know when you're allowed to water and how much for each specific zone. And if you water on the wrong day, they will fine you up to $1,000. And I've heard you only get 1 warning, and that's it. And the fines become absolutely insane beyond that first one. When it comes to holiday decor, they only recognize certain holidays in our community, which I think is a little unfair, I'm not gonna lie. But you can only put your holiday decor up for the holidays they deem 20 days before and up to 30 days after. Otherwise, they do give you a monetary fine. No parking on the street from 1 to 6 a.m. Otherwise, they will tow your car with no warning. And if you have guests that don't fit into your driveway or your garage, you have to pay for them to park at the golf course in our neighborhood. Or if you have a boat or RV, you are not allowed to have it in your driveway at all, except for 48 hours, which is essentially to give you enough time to clean it or load it up or whatever. But otherwise, you have to park it outside of our neighborhood, like somewhere else. There's not even anywhere in our neighborhood, which I feel like they could make some good money on, to be honest, where you can park your RVs or boats. Like, they're not allowed. There's also a lot of other rules with cars about how they have to be in like good working condition. You can't have a car parked in your driveway that's like broken down for an extended period of time. If it looks rusted or it has flat tires, you have to get them fixed within a certain period of time. If your plates or your registration are like expired or there's issues with it, you have to get it fixed. Otherwise, they can tow your car or give you fines as well. Let me know if you want a part 2, because this is truly just scratching the surface. And yes, I still love living in an HOA neighborhood. I just have to like be a rule follower and remember all these things because it's a lot.
Ownership means little. Permission controls your next move. HOA rules and banking failures reveal how quickly control can shift away from the person paying.
HOA sent me another letter. They told me to cease activity immediately. That's my second notice. What in the what? It's been raining. I was on vacation and I ceased all the activity. But they literally pulled up yesterday and took a picture of my SUV and my son's car in my driveway. At this point, I'm feeling harassed, and I have every right to have friends or family over here in my neighborhood. So HOA is really ticking me off at this point. I sent what I said back in an email, CC'd my husband on it. Now I'm gonna enjoy my pool today with some friends. I'm gonna enjoy my pool with some friends today. They're not gonna stop me from enjoying my pool. Like, at least have factual evidence that I am renting it out. But at this point, it's getting a little too ridiculous. I just thought I'd share that. Because apparently somebody is watching so close.
Really quickly, and this is very, very important, if you bank with any major large bank, Chase, Wells Fargo, whatever, whoever, this message is for you. There's currently a scam going around right now with Best Buy. Best Buy is not the one who's scamming, but the scammers are calling the customers, pretending to be an agent from their bank and saying that there was an unauthorized charge for $200 and something through bestbuy.com. And if it's not them, to call a specific number to have their accounts taken care of. It is a scam call. Today alone, it's not even 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've had like 8 customers walk into my branch with this issue. Some of them have fallen for the scam and have lost money. It is a scam. So if you have any family members, especially senior family members, older family members, because those are the ones that they're targeting right now, let them know, send them this video. It is a scam. Make sure that you tell them not to give out any information, and when in doubt, go to their nearest branch. Chase, Wells Fargo, Truist, whoever it is, they need to go to the actual branch. Tell them not to call that customer service number that they're asking them to call, because it is not a rep from their bank. I'm telling you, the amount of people who have walked into my branch today with this issue, I cannot even count. It's just too much. And people are losing thousands of dollars to this scam.
These stories are not the same problem, but they share one warning. Access is power. Follow the evidence, then tell me where control is slipping. Like and subscribe.